This is what we're going to build in this video, a high converting homepage, in this case, the one from MonsterInsights, which is a very popular plugin for WordPress. And we're going to take it step by step so you can clearly see how to replicate something like this for your own business. Let's dive in. First things first, let me break down some of the tools that we're going to be using to replicate this homepage. We need Thrive Architect, which is going to be the page builder that we're going to be using to craft up our page, create all of our sections, and insert all of our elements. We're also going to need Thrive Theme Builder to create the global sections of our page. These are our header and our footer. And then we also need Thrive Ovation to display some nice testimonials. Now, rather than going out and buying all of these plugins individually, at Thrive Themes, we offer the possibility of purchasing all of our suite of plugins for a much more affordable price by signing up to Thrive Suite. There's a link in the description box down below in case you wish to learn more about that. All right, let's quickly break down MonsterInsights homepage before we start building. Now, MonsterInsights has somewhat of a long format homepage, so we're not going to rebuild every section of it because we'd be here for a couple of hours, but let's see what they have going on. The header for MonsterInsights is very simple, very clean. It makes it super easy for users to quickly find what they may be looking for. It shouldn't take us too long to replicate this one. Their hero section is really clean as well. I'd like to bring attention though to the typography that they're using throughout their site for both headings and body paragraph, which is Roboto. Roboto is a Google font, which is very easy to read. There's also a massive call to action included as well as some key highlights about their product. This hero section is simple, completely conversion focused, and we're going to have some fun replicating it. Now, let's just quickly scroll down through the page, or no, please, if you can. Right underneath the hero section, we have some trusted by logos, a section outlining all of the key features behind MonsterInsights, some more content about the tools that it works with, and some testimonials that in our case we will be pulling through with Thrive Ovation. There are a few more sections outlining more of what you can do with MonsterInsights, and I'd like to point out that in every single one of them there's a call to action to get MonsterInsights now, which I absolutely love. This is how you design a landing page with a conversion focused mindset. And then, the rest of the page is what you would expect a homepage for a WordPress plugin to be like, right? We have some more sections about MonsterInsights, a section about the founder, more authority credentials, and an FAQ section followed by the footer. To me, this homepage is a great example of how you don't need to reinvent the wheel design-wise to get your message across and get conversions. Which, spoiler alert, MonsterInsights was developed by Awesome Motive, which is also our parent company. And I can tell you firsthand, this is a very high converting landing page. Alrighty, let's get building. All right, folks, so I'm in the back end of my WordPress website. And I think that the first thing that I want to do is just insert these testimonials that MonsterInsights has on its homepage inside Thrive Ovation. There's only 3 of them and they're quite short. So I've already uploaded their images into my media gallery of my WordPress site. And all we need to do is jump over into Thrive Ovation and add them in. Great, so let's go ahead and add in a new testimonial. It's going to be, doesn't actually have a title, these ones, so we don't really need one. Let's just go ahead and do a full name. This one is from Stephen Glebe, founder of Church Themes. Stephen Glebe, and let's just do founder of Church Themes. Excellent. Let's add in a tag. Let's just do MonsterInsights. That way we can group all of our MonsterInsights testimonials into one category. And let's just go ahead and copy and paste this text. Let's go ahead and insert our text and let's add the, here goes the full name. We don't need a title. Let's upload the picture. And I already have Steven's picture in my media gallery. Great. And I think we're good to go. Let's add the testimonial in. All right, that's one of them. Now we need to do Frank van der Sluits. Perfect. I'm just gonna go ahead and call him Frank because he has a little bit of a strange last name. And let's just do MonsterInsights as our tag, and let's use his picture. Excellent. And we're only missing one of them. All right, let's add Matt Jaworski. Let's upload a picture. And here goes the testimonial. Oops, I forgot to add in a tag. Great. So we now have our 3 testimonials and they've all been tagged as Monster Insights. And this is going to make our lives easier because once we're inside Thrive Architect building our page, we can just drag and drop in a Thrive Ovation widget and display all of our testimonials that have been tagged as Monster Insights. And we can have as many of them. In our case, we're only going to do the 3 of them that are actually being used on Monster Insights homepage. But now that we've taken care of our testimonials, we are now ready to start working on our header and our footer. There are a couple of different ways in which we can create our headers and footers. The way I like doing them, especially on this testing environment website where I have so many headers and footers already created, is I can navigate over into the global elements section of our Thrive dashboard. So if we come into Thrive dashboard and jump into global elements, let's look for global elements here. Global elements. Inside our global elements, we're going to be able to manage our templates, our symbols, our notification toasts, and of course, all of our headers and footers. I've got so many of them already created, right, from previous videos that we've already worked on. Here on our YouTube channel, we've built the New York Times, we've built BuzzFeed, we've built a couple of different websites already. And now we're going to go ahead and create a new header right within our global elements section. You could also just create a new page inside Thrive Architect. And if you have Thrive Theme Builder installed, just add in your header and create it from scratch right within your page. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. All right, let's hit create new header. And I'd rather start from scratch for this particular. Do I want to start? Actually, no, let's do basic light, because this formatting is pretty much identical to what we're going after, right? We are going after a header that has a logo on the left-hand column. That's actually not the main header. This is actually a sticky header that gets replaced with something else when you're scrolling, right? This is our default header. We have our logo on the left-hand column and then a simple navigation menu on the right-hand column. But if you scroll down, that header just disappears, and then we have a different header that shows up. And we can actually do this inside Thrive Architect as well. I'm going to show you how. All right, so let's go ahead and pick Basic Light as our template to begin working from. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. Let's just call this Monster Insights header. Perfect. And as you can see, this header is inheriting some properties from my theme. And the logo that's currently set to be the default logo for my current theme is the Business Insider logo. So I'm going to actually replace that for the Monster Insights logo, which I've already uploaded into my media gallery, and it is going to be here. Great. And let's just go ahead and replace the background color. Let's pick out our logo, and I don't want this grayish background color. Let's go ahead and make it white. Excellent. And we just need to make sure that the typography for our navigation menu is Roboto. So let's go ahead and look for Roboto. Excellent. And we need features, pricing, support. So let's do features. Actually, this should be features, probably features, pricing. Let's go ahead and selecting the custom menu from the breadcrumbs, open up our menu items. And here, let's do scroll, put features at the very top. Let's replace features with support. All right, and let's just do login and get started. Let's do actually get started. I think that I want get started to be a button in it of itself. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to go ahead and drag and drop a button, and we're going to put it to the right hand side of the navigation menu. Great. Now we don't need this right-hand column to be that wide because we're only going to have one button inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this down to be 15%, give or take. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and select the main primary color for MonsterInsights. By the way, I have a lot of people that always ask me, what tool are you using to highlight colors and, quickly select colors that you're interested in grabbing from other websites. And it's a tool called SIP, S-I-P. It's only available for Mac OS, but I'm sure there's a Windows version called something else that you can probably find. All right, so for our main options for our button selected, we want to change the background color, make it this type of blue that we just selected. Excellent. And I don't know that we probably do want a little bit of a rounded border here. And if we inspect the button, we can see that if we come over into computed, we have 5 pixels of border. 5 pixels of roundness assigned to this button. Excellent. So let's go back, and with our button selected, I can tell that there is something happening with the background style. Let's get rid of this background box. Let's give it a full color and no transparency. That's much better. And we want our roundness to be of 5 pixels. Perfect. So we should be good to go. We just need to make sure that this is set to be Roboto. All right. And let's give this Roboto and no spacing. Let's just change this to be get started. All right. And I think we want the weight of this font to be perhaps 500. I wonder if we want to bold it. Select this and let's bold this. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's just make sure that we have the proper font size selected. So we need 16 pixels of font size, and we don't need this to be as tall as it is in our current website. We only need this to be 35 pixels tall. How do you know that it's 35 pixels tall, Tony? Well, by inspecting the button, I can tell that it's 109 pixels by 35 pixels tall. Right here. All right, let's go back. And let's make sure that we have under layout and position. Let's make the height 35 pixels tall. And we need the font to be 16 pixels. And the same thing applies to our navigation menu. Let's make it 16 pixels. All right, that's 16 pixels already by default. Perfect. All right. This is looking good, folks. I think that perhaps we don't need the header to be as tall as it is, but we're very close to being done here. So let's just make sure we get rid of some of these paddings and margins that perhaps the custom menu has, or the button. Yeah, it has 20 pixels of top and bottom margin. Let's just get rid of that. Perfect. And I think we're good to go. I'm happy with this. Let's just make sure that this looks good on mobile, which it doesn't. All right, so how are we going to fix this on mobile? Perhaps what I would be inclined, let's actually see what they're doing. On mobile devices, what MonsterInsights is doing is, all right, it hides the button. I can't get rid of this massive top, banner, promotional banner for some reason. Okay. So on mobile, the call to action button disappears and we simply get a sandwich menu, which is a pretty good behavior that we could replicate. So here with our button selected, let's just go ahead and do responsive, hide on mobile and tablet. And by doing that, if we jump over into mobile devices, our button disappears. Now, of course, there is still a right-hand column there, which is a problem. We don't want that, right? So I'm having second thoughts here. Instead of doing that, let's go ahead and do a new set of columns. Let's drag and drop them underneath our 3-column layout. Let's split it in half evenly. We're going to duplicate our logo, drag it into the left-hand column. We're going to duplicate our custom menu, drag it into the right-hand column. And now what we can do is, for our top set of 3-column layout, let's not display it on mobile devices. And our new set of 2-column layout, let's hide it on desktop. And now what we've achieved is, on mobile, the top set of 3 columns is not going to show up. Now, we don't want our sandwich menu to be sitting on a separate line as our logo. So what we're going to do is, with our column selected, let's just tell Thrive Architect, hey, make sure that you don't wrap these columns. Excellent. And now we just need to make this a little bit bigger and make sure that we don't have unnecessary paddings or margins anywhere. All right. And let's just do columns, vertically align everything. And with our header selected, layout and position, this is good. All right, let's just go into our columns and let's get rid of some of these margins and paddings. We don't need our header to be extremely tall. Perfect. Great. I think we're good to go in terms of our header. Now, if you wanted to change the behavior of your header when it's actually scrolling, it's very easy to do that. Under scroll behavior for our header, we're going to do up here, you're going to do sticky. Great. And now if we jump over into header options, we can tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want to edit and customize my header on scroll. And now what's going to happen is I could make any kind of change that I want to make. For example, let's go back to the default view for MonsterInsights here. Let's see what happens when we scroll. All right. And when we scroll, we've got the logo, we've got joined 3 million users using MonsterInsights to grow their online business with confidence, and 2 buttons here. All right, let's just quickly replace our navigation menu here with some text. All right, let's do a little bit of text here and let's paste here some text. All right, and let's just make sure that we're using Roboto to be consistent. All right. And as you can see, if we select our header on load, we are going to see a navigation menu here. And if we were to scroll with our header, we would see this call to action. Perfect. I'm back in the global elements section of our Thrive dashboard, but this time we're going to create a new footer. Okay. So here we have our headers and we have our MonsterInsights header. And now it's time to work on our footer. Let's go ahead and create a new footer and let's just give it a name. MonsterInsights footer will do just fine. Actually, before we do that, let's pick out our template. We need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column layout. I don't know that there's going to be a 5-column layout template, but this 4-column layout should probably work just fine. We can add a new one in a second. All right, let's call this MonsterInsights footer. And this is what we have to work on. Let's just quickly take a look at what we need here. So first things first, we need 1, 2, 3, 5 columns. Okay, 5 columns of useful links. In order to save ourselves a little bit of time here, let's just get the aesthetics in order. I'm not going to spend too much time getting all of my links in there because we would just be here forever. But what we can do here is, okay, we've got a column and I'm thinking that the best way of doing this is probably going to be, we probably just want to duplicate this text and put it to the right-hand side. And we're going to do the same thing with our divider. Put it here, duplicate this list item, put it below the divider. Actually, wait, it would just probably be better to duplicate the whole list. Style list, duplicate, and put it underneath the divider. All right, that's perfect. And then how about we need a divider that stretches out to the full width of the screen. So we could do a divider. Let's put it above this text element. Let's do 1 pixel, and let's make sure that we bring down the opacity to 20%, right? That looks about right. And for our disclaimer text, we have a new set of 2-column layouts. I'm thinking that let's actually just do columns above this text element, duplicate these. Let's take the copyright text and bring it inside the left-hand column. I don't want the background color, so we can get rid of that. Let's just make it white. And here what I want is, this is one image and this is a separate image. So we need a 2-column layout inside the right-hand column. But I'm thinking that I want to put the 2 columns inside a content box. Because if you think about it, this 2-column layout is contained. And in order to contain a set of columns, we need to put them inside a content box. So we have a content box inside my right-hand column, and now we need those 2-column layouts. There's 2 columns here. Okay, and we're gonna have one image on the left-hand column, which is going to be the Norton secured and PayPal verified, which is this one. Excellent. Let's just clone this, and then we need the WP beginner verified as well, which is going to be this one. Excellent. And now we can take our content box and squash it down. Let's make the max width much, much smaller. And we can get rid of all of these margins and paddings. Excellent. And can probably get rid of all of the margins and paddings for our images. Excellent. And let's take the content box that has our columns contained. And let's make sure that we tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want you to right align that content box. Perfect. That sort of looks like what we're going after, right? And then we just need to take this text, copy, paste this here. Let's make this column longer. And we have a new navigation item. A new navigation menu underneath this string of text. Now, let's just go ahead and proceed without that, because that's just as easy as dropping a custom menu. Let's do a standard drop-down menu. You can use a WordPress menu for this. Categories. Oh, this is going to be a long one because I think this is the one that we used to build the New York Times. So there may be too many, navigation items here. This is not going to work for us, but essentially you would just insert a custom menu there. You could also probably just do text elements, do like a 1, 2, 3, a 4-column layout with different text elements, or you could also just do one string of text, right? Where you have terms, 1, 2, 3, leave 5 spacings or so. 1, 2, 3, privacy. 3, you could do affiliates and so forth and so on, and make this Roboto. Let's actually do this real quick. Roboto. And you make it much smaller. You make it like 12 pixels, no spacing, and so forth and so on. And you would just make those be links. Great, so this is kind of what we have going on here. Now, there is one thing that's bugging me a little bit, which is that the divider is actually not stretching out to the full width of the screen. How do we fix this? This is probably because our Thrive symbol, which is our footer, is going to have a max width, right? Assigned when we drop it inside our page. It's going to inherit whatever page width has that page that we've dropped it in set. So if we insert our footer inside a page that has a max width of 1080 pixels, then our footer is going to automatically inherit that. We can overrule those properties, but that's the default behavior. Now, what we can do is tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want you to insert a background section underneath the divider, and I want you to stretch out the content to fit the entire screen width, okay? And if we now drag and drop the divider inside the background section, boom. That's still not doing it, but I know why. Content covers entire screen width. And there you go. Now we want to make sure that we get rid of this section minimum height of 150 pixels. And let's just go ahead and preview what our footer looks like right now. Perfect. So right off the bat, this, but we've got some issues going on. The main one is that these text elements are empty, and that is because we haven't actually populated in our company address, our phone number, and our email address within our Thrive dashboard. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then other than that, I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. We've managed to get our divider to stretch out to the full width of our screen, which is great. And this is more or less starting to look the way we wanted it to look. Now, as you can see, this, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, MonsterInsights has its footer and header nicely contained into a box, right? This is probably a box of, I would say, 1280 pixels of width, give or take. Once we drop our header and our footer inside our page, we will be able to tell Thrive Architect to contain our header and footer to be 1280 pixels wide, or 1200 pixels, or 1080, whatever we want. All right, so that is going to be good to go for our footer. So we have our testimonials, our header, and our footer. Let's actually go ahead and start building our page. Now, before we jump into building our page, if we jump back into Thrive dashboard really quick, and we navigate over into Smart Site, this is where we get to customize our global fields, such as, our company address. So let's just say Manhattan, 5th Avenue. And, you can spend some time doing here, filling out your details. But that way, if you come in here and actually give your company, your global fields, some legitimate company information, your footer won't show up empty. Or you could just customize your footer manually and type it inside Thrive Architect. That would be fine too. All right, let's go ahead and create a new page. And let's call this MonsterInsights. Let's go ahead and save this as a draft. And let's fire up Thrive Architect. Great, so as you can see, as usual, Thrive Architect is going to prompt us to start working either from our regular Thrive Theme Builder default page template, if you have Thrive Theme Builder installed, or we can start working from a blank page, a pre-built landing page, which Thrive Architect comes with hundreds of them, or we can start working from a blank page but with a header and footer, which is what we're going to do. We're going to start working with a header and footer, which are going to be obviously the ones that we just created. Great, and with our page created, let's go ahead and tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want you to use the MonsterInsights header. So let's change the header, look for our saved headers. It's going to be the MonsterInsights header. Now, let me show you something. If we jump over into MonsterInsights homepage and I inspect their header, I can see that this header is actually, if I look at the container that holds the header is 1300 pixels wide, right? It's 1260, but it has 40 pixels of internal padding. So in total, we need 1300 pixels. So let's go ahead and tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want you to keep my header inside 1300 pixels, inside 1300 pixels. And we're going to do the same thing for our footer. Let's change the footer. And we're going to tell Thrive Architect, hey, use MonsterInsights footer. And again, instead of doing stretch content to full width, we're going to do keep the content inside 1300 pixels. And as you can see, now we have that nice, beautiful boxed effect that MonsterInsights is also enjoying, right? Where all of our content sits inside a nice and tidy and organized box. One thing that I am noticing is that the page is inheriting my theme's default typography settings. So if we jump over into Central Style panel and we take a look at the fonts, I can tell Thrive Architect, hey, don't inherit my the typography from my theme. So let's turn that off. And now the typography settings from my header and footer should be preserved, which is great. And while we're at it, let's just go ahead and give this color. Let's make the default color MonsterInsights primary blue color. Excellent. All right, and now let's start building. So the hero section is going to be, it's going to be a fun one. So we need the best WordPress analytics plugin. This whole thing, this entire hero section is going to be one big background section. All right, let's grab the color while we're at it, and let's drop in a background section. It's going to have this background color that we just selected. Excellent. And while we work on the hero section, let's give the background section some minimum height. All right. And let's start throwing in some content. I'm thinking that this whole thing, I want to put inside a content box. That way I can keep it nice and organized. And the content box itself is probably going to be, let's inspect this string of text. And I can see that it's 1260 pixels wide. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one thing. Let's align the background section to be, let's keep everything inside the background section vertically aligned to the middle. And let's drop in a content box. And let's make the content box maximum with 1300 pixels with 20 pixels of left and right padding. So we're gonna leave it as it is. And now let's grab all of the text that we need and bring it over into our site. Let's make our typography Roboto. And let's make it bold. Let's align it. And I'm pretty sure that this is 48 pixels with a weight of 900. Great, so let's do 48 pixels with a weight of 900 when it's bold. Excellent. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this, copy and paste this. Excellent, line it to the middle. Let's get rid of all of this line spacing. Excellent. And now we need a 6-column layout for all of these nice icons and features. So let's go ahead and drop a 4-column layout. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use icons, right? Let's do icon. Let's look for a time. Let's do this clock. It's not quite identical, but it looks kind of the same. Let's make this blue. I'm gonna save this as a favorite color. It's probably gonna save myself a little bit of time. And hear me out. We want this to have a background color, right? But in order to make sure that the background color looks nice and that it blends well with the icon, well, we don't want transparency there. We need to give the icon itself some internal padding. So let's do 20 pixels all around. Perfect. Now let's drop in the text, which is going to be thinking of just duplicating this one, putting it underneath. Let's make this 18. Let's do, 18 real time. And let's do analytics. Analytics. Let's not bold this one. Excellent. And now what we can do is just duplicate this content box and put it here. Let's do that one more time. Put it here, duplicate this one, and we'll put it here. And I think we needed 2 more, right? Let's duplicate this content box, put it there, and let's duplicate this content box and put it there. Excellent. There's 6 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is starting to look pretty cool, right? Now we need a big call to action button. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all these paddings and margins for my set of columns. Excellent. All of these icons probably, that would have probably been smarter to get rid of the margins and paddings before cloning all of these things. Let's just do it real quick. All right. And as Thrive Architect is suggesting, I'm going to go ahead and save my work. I've actually been working for some time now, and it's never a bad idea to save your work every now and then. All right, next up, we need one big call to action. So let's drop in a button underneath our columns, and we're going to make it, first things first, let's change the font style. Let's make the typography Roboto. Let's do Roboto, and let's make the bold typeface 700. I'm gonna make this 24 with no letter spacing. And we're gonna do, what does it say? Get MonsterInsights now. Get Monster, is it one word, two words? It's one word. Insights now. Let's actually go ahead and bold this. Great. And now we're just missing, we're missing this set of 3 columns. So interestingly enough, MonsterInsights, this may seem like one image, and one image, but these are actually separate content boxes. And it's going to take a little bit of time to build, but let's actually go ahead and do it because I want to show you how they did this. Let's insert a new set of 3 columns. Okay, and we're going to put one content box inside the left-hand column. Let's make it white. Let's give it some border, and it's going to be probably 75 pixels of border. Yeah, and let's give this a little bit of a border here as well. Excellent. Now, we need one column for the WordPress logo, one column for the review section, and we also need a text element here. Yep, it is something. Let me tell you, it's something. But I am thinking it may make even sense to just give each content box a fixed width. I'm wondering. So all of these rounded content boxes that we're about to create, they're the same size, right? These are 190 pixels wide by 52 pixels tall. And so I'm thinking it may make sense to just come into layout and position and give it a 192 pixel width and a fixed height of 52 pixels. Is that about right? That doesn't look about right. Let me actually re-inspect this just to make sure that I'm doing it right. 192 by 52. Let me make sure that there aren't, it's actually 176 by 30, sorry, 176 by 30. Let's do 176 by 30. All right, that's much better. And let's make sure that we center align this. And we're gonna need 3 more columns inside this tiny content box. It's gonna be 3 columns. And we need 1 image on the left-hand column. It's gonna be the WordPress icon, which, if I'm not mistaken, I already have it here somewhere. It's here. Excellent. Now we need those little star icons as well in the middle column. Excellent. We need some text, which I'm just probably going to take this one. And we're going to put it inside. Is it the right-hand column? Yeah, we need some text in the right-hand column and some more text underneath those little stars below. There you go. So it's going to be 2267 reviews, 2267 reviews. Now we need to make the font size probably be like 8 pixels. All right, and here we just need 4.6. 4.6, let's bold this one. All right, and now how do we get all of this to fit inside the content box? That's a great question. Well, first things first, let's tell the content box, hey, I want you to vertically align everything to the middle. And that already kind of gets us to where we want to be, right? Let's just make sure that we align everything to the middle and each column as well. Perfect. And this image probably has some, yeah, there you go, some extra margins in there. Let's bold the 2267 reviews. And I'm thinking that it has to be a little bit bigger, maybe like 12 pixels. Oops, 12 pixels. All right, let's make some room for that. And some room for this. And reviews, actually the word reviews doesn't need to be bolded. Perfect. All right, that is more or less what we're going after. And since we've contained everything inside 170 pixels of width, I know that this content box is going to be mobile responsive. It's going to look, well, if we tell Thrive Architect not to wrap these columns, nor these columns, it should be fine. There you go. Now we do want to wrap the top columns actually. There you go. This looks fine on mobile as well. Excellent. So now we can just probably duplicate this, put it here, just to show you what it looks like on mobile when you have the three of them. Okay, not bad. I'm thinking that on desktop, I want to make sure that these columns are actually contained a little bit more. Let's give this a max width. Excellent. Awesome. And now let's drag in our image, the main image for our hero section, which is going to be this one. Excellent. Looking good, looking good. Starting to like how this looks like. Now, ooh, interesting. So this image is actually overlapping with the following section. How do we do this? There's a couple of different ways. First things first, remember how we gave our background section a minimum height? Let's just get rid of the minimum height. We don't need a minimum height anymore. And let's make sure that this background section, this image, doesn't have any bottom margins and that there's nothing pushing. See all of these paddings, bottom paddings. We want to make sure that since we want the image to be sitting underneath, just a little bit over our background section, we can't have anything be pushing our background section further to the bottom, right? Because technically speaking, now we can come into advanced, give our image a relative positioning here. Let's get rid of the top margin and have it sit on top of our section underneath. All right, so let's actually, I'm running out of space here. Let's insert a new background section. And we can tell, as you can see now, it's overlapping the next section. And we can tell Thrive Architect, hey, I want you to move this as further up or down as you want. And it should look okay on mobile as well. There you go. We probably don't want to, on mobile, what I would do for this 6 column layout is probably do, I'm going to show you how to do this on mobile because it's actually rather tricky, right? How do you get these 6 columns to look great on mobile devices? Right now, it's a little bit having so much real estate screen dedicated to these 6 features. I'm thinking that you can't not wrap them, right? We could tell Thrive Architect, hey, don't wrap these columns. And what that would do is it would try to make all of those 6 columns fit into a single row. That's not ideal because it doesn't look good. So how do we fix this? Well, we're going to fix it doing the following thing. We're going to insert a new content box underneath these columns. And we're going to do something similar to what we did on our footer or our header. Our header, actually. We're going to do 3 columns here. We're going to dedicate 3 columns for 3 of these featured for 3 of these features. Perfect. And let's just duplicate this content box. Not the content box, but the columns, actually. And now we're going to grab the content box that holds this pair of new set of columns. And we're going to tell Thrive Architect, hey, don't display this on desktop. And our 6-column layout, we're going to tell Thrive Architect, hey, don't display this on mobile. And now we still have something similar to what we had, but now we can technically say, Thrive, don't wrap my columns. And it still doesn't look great, but now we're much closer to having something that looks better. We could spend a little bit of time just making this smaller, maybe tweaking the font, making this like 14, making this 14, and we make this one 14 as well. We make this one 14 as well. And this is 22 pixels, so let's make the icon 22 pixels. And we get this and we make it 14. And we make this 14. And these columns are, this is this is starting to look okay. And perhaps 3 columns is not the best. Perhaps I'm starting to think 3 columns may not be enough real estate screen. We may have to do them by 2s. So show me all my hidden elements, and instead of doing 3, let's actually do 2, because I still need some more real estate screen. And let's just duplicate these columns. All right, hide hidden elements. And now that's much, much better, right? Now we can tell Thrive Architect, hey, these columns, don't wrap them. These columns, don't wrap them. And we can probably go back to making these 60 pixels. And you get the gist, right? We could get rid of all of these margins and paddings. And this would look much, much better. Perfect. Alrighty, now let's keep going. Let's build this trusted by those that you trust section, and let's insert some of these logos. So here inside our background section, let's give this a minimum height just so that we can work on this. And let's give this a content box. We want to make sure that we align everything to the middle, and we can probably just grab this text, duplicate it, and bring it down. And we can put it inside the content box. Let's just grab this text, trusted by those that trust you. Let's insert some columns here. All right, let's do 4. Let's just do a few of these logos. We don't have to do all of them. All right, and let's do Yoast. All right, let's do some of these WooCommerce. Alrighty, let's change this. Let's do Gravity Forms, and let's do one more. MemberPress. All right, looking good. Now, whoop, we are running out of space here, so let's just make the minimum height a little bit bigger. Now there's something happening here. We need to get rid of all these paddings again. All right. And all of these images have some more margins and paddings as well. Make sure that this content box, oops, and I did forget, accidentally put the columns outside the content box. So let's make sure that we put them inside. That's much better. Excellent. Looking good. I'm thinking there may be too much space in between this image and this set of columns, and not enough breathing room in between this H1 and the top of the background section. Let's make sure that we give this 60 pixels of top padding. That's much better. And let's do something. Instead of giving this a vertical relative positioning, because it's creating too much space in between this set of columns and the image itself. Inside our background section, let's just go into layout and position and give this a maximum height. That way, we can contain and we can keep this section as tall as we want. So 1158 pixels of height looks about right. And that way we don't have to actually keep these elements so spaced apart from each other. All right, now we've been here for almost an hour, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do this. Let's just drop in our testimonials. Let's do a background section here. Let's give this a little bit of color. And we need to do Thrive Ovation testimonials, display testimonials. Excellent. Now you do need Thrive Ovation installed to be able to do this. Truly encourage you to give it a try if you haven't done so already. And we want a carousel type of slider testimonial feature. So let's just go ahead and do this one, for example. Now we want a dynamic list of testimonials made up of MonsterInsights testimonials. So you can see I can select this tag and let's just do apply. Great. Now we don't actually need all of this background styling for it. And we just need, okay, to be honest, we just need to reorder this a little bit, right? So let's do some columns. Let's do a 2-column layout. Let's drag in the profile picture in the left-hand column, the content of the testimonial in the right-hand column. And that should be about it. Let's just make sure that we can read this. Let's make the typography black. Testimonial content. Let's make this black. Let's make this roboto. Excellent. Probably can be 16 pixels. Same thing for this. And we probably don't need any borders. All right, let's bring this over to the left-hand side. Let's make sure that everything inside our columns is vertically aligned to the middle. And this is more or less already getting closer. So for our carousel, we don't actually need arrows, but we do need dots. Perfect. We probably want some padding around our testimonial. And I can tell that the text itself is further closer to the profile picture. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make sure that we do layout on position, align to the left, name, align to the left. And we can probably do, let's make this column even thinner. Great. I'm gonna keep the height of this text element to be 35 pixels. Let's see what that happens. We want to make sure we left align everything. Okay, that is starting to look better. Much closer to what MonsterInsights has, anyway. Anyways, we've been here for over an hour now, folks. We've not covered everything that we wanted to cover, or that at least I wanted to cover. But let me know if these types of wireframing videos is something that you're interested in looking at. Perhaps it would be a better idea for us to, Arno, what do you think about splitting up into different videos instead of doing one massive video? Maybe doing like the header for MonsterInsights in one video and the footer on a separate video and then the hero section in a separate video, rather than doing a longer video, because I do get the feeling that some of you folks may get a little bit overwhelmed by the longer videos. But anyways, that's something that you can definitely drop down in the comment section for sure, because we would probably need a good solid hour and a half to really finish this up. All right, hopefully this walkthrough has been insightful. If you have any questions about anything that we've worked on today, please drop them down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And if you want to build similar landing pages like this one from Monster Insights, you most likely want to be using Thrive Suite like I did throughout this video. There's a link in the description box that you can click on to sign up to Thrive Suite immediately. I so much appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.